I never thought my first real fight in the Philippines would be against a creature that literally detaches its upper body and flies around like a demonic half-torso on wings. Back in Prague, my biggest night threat was maybe a drunk tourist tripping on cobblestones. But in the Philippines, oh no, Filipinos have a whole different category of night problems. Their monsters have strategy, they have lore, they have dietary preferences, and apparently, they are quite interested in tall red-haired Czech women who walk alone at midnight because they just want ice cream. That was me. And this is how I learned everything about Manananggals quite painfully. And how to protect yourself from one. It started at 11:47 p.m. I remember because my phone beeped, warning me that I was 15 minutes past safe Filipino ghost hours. A Filipino friend had actually told me that if you're still out after 11:30, she said, you will meet something supernatural. Or at least a barangay dog. I laughed. I shouldn't have. I was staying in a small town in Capiz. The same Capiz that many Filipinos say is the home base of Aswangs. Did I research this before booking the airbnb? No. I was busy watching videos like Top 10 Reasons Filipinos Are the Best. I should have watched Top 10 Reasons Not to Walk Around Capiz at Midnight. Anyway, I was on my way back from the sari-sari store with a tub of Ube ice cream, walking like a responsible adult when the air suddenly became quiet. Too quiet. No geckos. No roosters. No tricycles. Even the stray dogs looked at me like, babe, run. Then I heard it. Tik-tik-tik. I froze. Mostly because my brain was trying to translate. Is this a woodpecker, a phone? A tiny time bomb? But then I remembered something from my Filipino culture crash course. The sound tik-tik is connected to the Manananggal. But here's the terrifying part. Filipinos say the sound works backwards. The quieter it gets, the closer it is, the louder it is. The farther, this one was soft. Tik-tik. Oh great, I whispered, she's close. Now, before I continue, let me give factual context because this is a myth, yes. But Filipinos across provinces talk about it with the seriousness of a weather report. The Manananggal is a mythical creature from Philippine folklore, known especially in Visayas regions. During the day, she looks like a normal woman, sometimes even beautiful. But at night, she splits her body in half at the waist. The lower half stays hidden while the upper half grows wings and flies around hunting. Pregnant women, sleeping people, and those with open wounds are considered her favorites. And she uses her long, straw-like tongue to suck blood or organs, not exactly the kind of girl you want to see on a dating app. The weakness? Salt, garlic, ash, vinegar, sunlight, and most importantly, finding her lower body and putting salt or spices on the exposed torso. Because if she can't reattach before sunrise, she dies. As a Czech woman, this became my first folklore homework. Back to the story. I slowly stepped backward, clutching my Ube ice cream like it was a holy object. Then the tik-tik stopped completely. A dog whined and hid behind a trash can. A tricycle suddenly sped away without a passenger. Like even the driver was like, nope, not tonight. I looked up, huge wings, a silhouette, hair flying everywhere, and glowing eyes locked on me like I was the buffet table at an all-you-can-eat restaurant. My first thought, wow, she has amazing abs. Because, truthfully, when the top half of your body detaches from the bottom, you must have extraordinary core strength. My second thought, I'm going to die holding ice cream. She swooped lower, and I swear I could see the sharp tongue flick out like a pink sword. I did what any reasonable foreigner in the Philippines would do. I shouted, "Tabi tabi po," at full volume. This phrase, usually meant for do whens, won't exactly stop a Manananggal, but it did confuse her long enough for me to sprint behind someone's bamboo fence. As she flew around, scanning for me, I remembered the list of protections: salt, garlic, ash, vinegar, sunlight. I checked my bag. Of course, I had none of these. I had lip gloss, one fork, a receipt, Ube ice cream. Amazing, truly a warrior's inventory. But one thing about Filipinos, they believe strongly in community defense, unlike Czech people, who might politely say good luck from their windows. Filipinos will come out swinging with full Home Alone traps if needed. Before I knew it, two old Lolas came outside carrying garlic like they were dual-wielding weapons. One man ran out with a bag of salt like he was going to season the entire province. A teenager shouted, "8, hide under the table," as if that could stop a flying creature, but the most heroic was the barangay tanod. He stormed out in slippers, holding a broom, yelling, "Hoy mahia kainga farner yan." Apparently even monsters must respect tourism. The Manananggal turned her head sharply. Her wings spread wide. I swear she hissed at the tanod for interrupting her dinner plans. He shouted louder, swinging the broom. It was ludicrous, a half-body flying demon versus a man in sinalas with a volleys. But the courage? 100/10. I crouched low, trying not to cry or drop the ice cream. "Do you have salt?" I whispered desperately. The Lola beside me shoved garlic into my hands. "Put some in your bra. It confuses them." So there I was, a red-haired Czech woman in a rural barangay, stuffing garlic into my bra at midnight. My life choices were glowing with excellence. The Manananggal swooped again, faster, angrier. But this time, the Lolas threw fistfuls of salt into the air like they were blessing a wrestling match. The creature shrieked and pulled back. Unknown belief, salt burns the exposed lower half of the creature. But it also stings the flying upper half, not fatal but painful enough to slow her down. Then I saw something in the distance. Her lower body, it was standing near a coconut tree, hidden under vines. Still upright like a mannequin, missing its torso, the exposed waist glistened under the moonlight vulnerable. I gasped and pointed. There, her body, the tanid's eyes widened. Ah, Ian. He ran toward it with the determination of a Filipino dad late for a Jollibee promo. All of us followed a European woman clutching garlic and ice cream to Lolas and slippers. 3 teenagers live streaming on Facebook, and a community leader with a broom. The Manananggal saw what we were doing and screeched, diving toward us like a missile. The Lolas didn't hesitate. They threw handfuls of salt at the lower body. It landed perfectly on the exposed torso, sizzling like fried garlic on hot oil. The Manananggal shrieked the kind of sound that made my soul attempt to leave my body. Her wings spasmed, losing control. She crashed into a banana plant, rolled to the ground, and writhed in agony. The sun wasn't up yet, but she could no longer reattach. The tanid, still breathing heavily, said, Padecía pagumaga, is she really dead? I whispered. He nodded. Hindi pa, but she will be. She cannot rejoin. The salt stops the healing. One of the Lolas gave me a sympathetic look. Next time, wag kalumab is nang gabi. Especially if red hair ka. They like unique women. Fantastic, I said. I am a walking buffet. The teenagers asked for a selfie with me. The Lolas asked if I wanted lugaw. Honestly, I did. As the first sign of sunrise appeared, the Manananggal's body stiffened. Her skin cracked, dried, and turned to ash. The upper half burned silently, disappearing like smoke in the air. The battle was won. Who won? Filipinos, always Filipinos, not because they had garlic, not because they had salt, not because they had a highly effective broom, but because Filipinos have this unbelievable, unbreakable unity. When one person is in danger, 10 more will come running, ready to help, ready to protect, ready to fight even the scariest creature in folklore. And me, I survived the attack, learned the real myths, and discovered all the protective rules firsthand. Never walk alone at midnight. Avoid dark trees and abandoned houses. Carry garlic or salt or just a Filipino friend. Never ignore the tik-tik. And keep your ice cream. Shockingly, it helps you stay calm when you think you're about to die. When the adrenaline faded, I sat there with the community eating warm lugaw while the sun rose. The tanid was still guarding the ashes like a proud hero. The Lolas continued lecturing me about Filipino ghost hours, and for the first time, I realized something. Filipino myths aren't just stories, they're cultural lessons, warnings, survival wisdom, and centuries of shared experience wrapped in humor, fear, and tradition. That night taught me respect. Respect for folklore, respect for a culture that still honors its history, and respect for the Filipino bravery that saved a clueless Czech woman who just wanted ice cream at midnight. Next time someone asks me how to protect yourself from a Manananggal, I'll give them the only correct answer: garlic, salt, and a barangay tanid with a broom. But mostly Filipinos.